Hello, I'm Matteo, the Chief Mobile Opinionist here at Tech Travel Geeks, and this is the beginning of our coverage of the Honor Magic5 Pro, what is in effect the Honor flagship smartphone for Western markets. Now, this is going to be a bit late compared to a lot of other coverage of the Honor Magic5 Pro. That's because Honor decided to wait a few months before sending us a review device. So today we're going to get round to unboxing the device. We'll follow this up tomorrow with a full setup video and then do some comparisons of the device. Sadly, we won't be able to compare this to the Honor Magic5 Lite that we have already done our long-term review of because we've already sent that review device back to Honor's PR agency. Anyway, let's have a look at the Honor Magic5 Pro packaging. Simple black box. It says on the box what the product is. It's the Honor Magic5 Pro. There's an Honor brand at the top, just a few brand details in gold lettering here, and your usual stickers at the back. This is a not for sale device, so I'm going to open it up, and the cardboard box fits in nicely, and we have the Honor Magic5 Pro here. So here's the device. We'll look at that in a moment. Let's see what else is in the box. Little plastic tray to hold the device in place. This is the SIM ejector tool, which is pretty nifty in its cardboard box. There's also a TPU case in a soft touch plastic bag here. As you can see, this is a soft touch TPU case, one that our friend Chris over at the Techspert YouTube channel would call a condom case. And in the box itself we have a fast charger. This is a 66 watt Honor Supercharge charger. In this case it's a UK plug with its travel extension. It still has its plastic covering on here, but we'll put this through its paces in our full long-term review. And then we have the Honor USB Type-C cable. So it's USB Type-A at one end, which goes into the USB Type-A port on the 66 watt charger, and on the other side it is USB Type-C. So very good of Honor to include a charger in the box, whilst a lot of their competition don't. We will put this aside now. There seems to be no documentation, but this is likely a review unit that doesn't come with any. Let's take the plastic wrapper off the device and have a look at the Honor Magic5 Pro. Now bear in mind, on retail units you won't have this not for sale sticker above the Honor logo. We might take that off during the review process. First impressions is this is very, very nice. And when I say nice, it has a decent heft to it, but it isn't iPhone 14 Pro heavy heft. It is beautifully curved on the edges of the glass back into that aluminium frame. The aluminium frame isn't super thin, it has a little bit of thickness to it. And then the screen itself, which does come with a screen protector pre-applied, is in place. But the screen protector covers up to pretty much the edges of where that front display curves into the edges of the device. And first impressions are, it feels really nice to hold. Now let's go through a quick walkthrough of the specifications of this device. Now this was released in March 2023, so March this year, and is a flagship device for Western markets, as I said earlier. Now it's glass front, glass back in Europe. If you were to purchase this in China, or for a device for the Chinese market, there is also an option to have what they call an eco leather back, or a vegan leather back. To you and me, that's a pleather back. So that's an option, but you have to bear in mind you won't get Google services with that device. It is a model reserved for the Chinese market. Anyway, this lovely design, and we see at the bottom you have your SIM tray, USB Type-C speaker, there's another speaker at the top of the device, so you have stereo. This lovely design is also IP68 dust and water resistant, which means you can put it underwater for about 30 minutes up to 1.5 meters, and there will be no visible damage. Obviously, we don't recommend you do this just for the sake of it, and definitely don't do this in salt water. This is in optimal conditions. That's the way they measure the IP rating. And the display itself is an LTPO OLED display. I'll quickly turn that on so you can see the shape of the display and the camera cut out for the selfie camera. See, it's Honor, powered by Android. We'll do the full setup in another video, as I said, one that we will release tomorrow. But this is definitely one to keep an eye on. So lots of Honor branding here. I like the way it's black, and the display itself, as you can see, is nice and bright, and it has a pill-shaped cutout on the top left. That contains a selfie camera, which is a 12 megapixel ultra-wide. It is capable of recording 4K video at 30 frames per second, and it also has a 3D time of flight depth sensor. This is because the Honor Magic5 Pro has a Face ID system similar to the Apple one. So it is more than just a camera taking your features and using those to unlock or validate your security with it. So we've talked about the body. The display is a 1312, so it's 1312 by 2848 or 2848 pixels. It's a 19.5 to 9 aspect ratio. That gives it a 460 pixels per inch pixel density, which is very, very good. But it is a slightly different resolution from what we're used to in terms of the absolute resolution. Obviously, the operating system, Magic OS 7.1, that comes on the device, that is based on Android 13, that will handle how content is displayed on the Honor Magic5 Pro. And obviously the software that is running on this device is enabled by the chipset, the system on a chip, which in this case is Qualcomm's Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 chip. That is the 2023 flagship system on a chip from Qualcomm. It's based on a 4 nanometer production process, which means it is also very efficient in terms of power. Now, power is something that's quite important here. The Honor Magic5 Pro has a significantly larger battery than the Honor Magic 4 Pro last year. It's a 5,100 milliamp hour battery, which is maybe because why the bezels at the side, that aluminium frame, slightly thicker. It does house a bigger battery. And as we saw, the charger is a 66 watt charger, which provides wireless charging at that speed. The Honor Magic5 Pro can also do 50 watt wireless charging, which is great. That wireless charging also enables it to do reverse wireless charging, and you can also use the Honor Magic5 Pro to reverse charge through your cable another device. So if your iPhone friends are running low on battery, as they often do, you can use the Honor Magic5 Pro to top their one up. Anyway, key feature of the Honor Magic5 Pro, as with any Magic Number Pro devices, is the cameras. And last year, if you've seen our long-term review of the Honor Magic 4 Pro, we really like the cameras on that. I made use of it, and I am still using the Honor Magic 4 Pro because of the cameras and how good they are. This year, the specifications have been bumped up. The main sensor here is a 50 megapixel sensor. That's f/1.6, and that's a standard wide-angle lens. This sensor has large pixels. They're 1.4 nanometer pixels, which is really impressive. So if you think about it that way, that's great. It also has laser autofocus, optical image stabilization, and phase detection autofocus. So it's got all the bells and whistles, nice big pixels. And at 50 megapixels, the software, the Magic UI operating system and the camera app will then do pixel binning and give you 12 megapixel pictures. Obviously, I haven't used this yet, but I will provide you with some samples of that in our long-term review, as well as from all the other cameras. So the 50 megapixel camera here is a periscope telephoto sensor. So you can just see it. It's a sort of, looks a bit square from here. That's because it's a periscope sensor that goes in somewhere to the phone, and the sensor is somewhere down here. It uses a complex set of lenses to get your image to the sensor and take pictures that you would probably need a lot more thickness with that periscope telephoto lens. And then there's also a 50 megapixel ultra-wide sensor, which is great for the use case of taking ultra-wide pictures of countrysides or architecture, and in my case, making your tiny cats look enormous. So that's the three main sensors on there. There's also a time of flight 3D depth sensor. I don't consider that to be a camera, it's just a sort of additional sensor that's there, but it's good to see it. And on the spec sheet, it's clear that this is capable of recording 4K video, not only at 30 frames per second, but it can record 4K video at 60 frames per second. Great to see that. So in terms of specs, I think we've covered pretty much everything. It has Bluetooth 5.2, the usual every Wi-Fi known to man. It has obviously your USB port, USB Type-C. This is USB Type-C 3.1. It does support DisplayPort 1.2, so if you do want to connect this to an external display through its USB Type-C port with the appropriate cable and display, you should be able to do that. At the top of the device, something that I always like calling out, there is an infrared port. That means you can use this to remote control your air conditioning unit, your TV, or any other device with infrared. You just need to set it up through the app. It's really quite handy if you're staying in a hotel and you don't want to touch the grubby remote control that comes in the room. So I think we've covered all the key specs here. We've unboxed the device. As you saw, there's a charger, there's a cable, something that not every manufacturer provides every day nowadays. So great overall packaging. We'll have to see how it gets on. And as I said, we'll be following this video up tomorrow with a full setup video where I'll walk you through my setup process, setting it up as a new device. And over the next few weeks, whilst we have this review device provided by Honor, we will also be doing some comparison videos with the iPhone 14 Pro, the Google Pixel 7 Pro, and probably also with the Honor Magic5 Pro from last year, since I still have that device. So thank you for watching if you made it this far into our unboxing of the Honor Magic5 Pro. If you don't already, please do subscribe to the Tech Travel Geeks here on YouTube. We cover consumer electronics, gadgets, accessories, even clothing and shoes. Anything we think makes the travel experience better. But for now, thanks for watching and goodbye from us.